Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. We are live. This is Real Talk with Mary Grace. It's Monday, the 21st of June, 2021. I'm hoping that everyone can hear me. Do we have volume? Are we? Hello. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. That would be great. I'm not sure that it's registering. Testing. Hope it's working. Okay, great. That sounds good. Okay, you can hear me. Perfect. Hello, everybody. So, welcome YouTube, welcome Facebook, welcome Cloud Hub. We are on Mary Grace Media Live, and here we go. So, please share this as you're coming in. If you're on Facebook, please copy the link and share it into groups that you belong to. Also, send it to people that you know in direct messages. And then make sure that you tag people. That's a good way to get the information out. When you share it into groups, it bypasses a lot of the censorship. So that's really helpful when you do that. And I'm back. I'm back from vacation. I had people asking me, "Where did you go? Did they take your channel down?" No, I'm here. I'm back. I had a great time. I was surfing. So that was what I did all week. I was really not doing much online except checking. Well, I was checking the news. I was putting things on Telegram some, but wasn't really super active, which is great. Okay, so I wanted to say too, as you're coming in on YouTube, make sure that you hit the thumbs up and then hit the bell so that you get notified when I go live. And then make sure that you hit the subscribe button, which is red. If you're not subscribed, it's red. And then hit it and it'll gray out. So make sure you do that. And if for some reason you got unsubscribed, just subscribe again. And then on the Facebook page, make sure that you not only like the broadcast, but make sure that you actually like and follow the page on Facebook. Because the more people do that, the more people who like it, then the more it shows up in the feed. The other thing you can do with Facebook is you can suggest that other people that you know follow the page. And so make sure that you do that. That really helps. And I do appreciate everybody sharing this. Thank you for all the prayers, for all the blessings. I really had a good vacation. I really needed a vacation. And so it was great to be able to just get in the outdoors and get in the ocean and unwind and have a great time. I had really good surfing and it was just fantastic. So, Barley was here. My dad was here. They had a great house sitter who came and stayed with them. And so everybody's doing great. And Barley has been following me around the house since I got home. And he's pretty cute. He was up here a few minutes ago. He was sitting beside me and then he was trying to climb up on the piano. So that's Barley. And he's got this new habit where he climbs up on the kitchen table and just sits there like he owns the place. And apparently, that's something that was allowed all week long while I was gone. So, uh, yeah. Anyway, but we're trying. What do? You pick your battles, right? Oh well, he's on the table. I guess we'll figure that one out in due time. I'm thinking about getting a little tower for Barley so that he can hang out with us on the show, kind of like how Amanda Grace has her animals in the background. I'm thinking about doing that because everybody always asks about him. So that might be in our future here. It's not like he doesn't already own the place and pretty much dictate everything that happens in the house. But why not? Let's make him front and center on the show as well. So I'm going to see what I can find. It's just crazy, crazy Barley. The whole area here is going to be taken up. The whole studio will be the Barley show. But I'm sure some of you wouldn't mind that. Okay. So there's a lot to cover today. And as you're coming in, please, as I said, share, let us know you're here. Yeah, Pat on YouTube says a tower would be nice. Let me just be clear about something. Barley has 2 towers in the house already. Um, yeah. So just to be clear, he's not deprived, he's not missing out. He has 2 towers, he has plenty of opportunity to climb, and, he has access to us and to his tower and to high spots around the house. But of course, it's not the same as if he's right here on the show. Um, so just FYI, he's not missing out. Let me fix my mic here. YouTube just started. That's interesting. Diane, I just saw the thing that you posted about Amazon and the jab. I thought that was very interesting. I want to read it to the audience here. I don't know how my microphone got all askew. Let me just see if I can adjust myself here. What happened? I was gone and everything's weird. Give me just a second. Let me see. I think I know what I need to do. YouTube was already working. Oh, good. Okay. Well, maybe it's just certain people get it later than others. I don't know. Okay, that's better. Much better. All right, now, so here's the thing. I want to tell you what happened. This is what Diane posted. I think this is very interesting. We're getting people in situations who are being told that they have to get the Jabberwocky in order to either to keep their job or to be able to take the face diaper off. And so they can come to work without the Jabberwocky, but they have to wear the face diaper, which has already been proven to cause way more problems than it prevents. And so, of course, one of the number one pushers of that policy is, no doubt, Amazon. All right. So it says, so they have an app. Okay. So this is the email that Diane got. This is the email that Diane got from that person, that company. She's a contract delivery driver. So just like, people drive for Uber and things like that, she does that for Amazon. So it says, on June 1st, we announced that Amazon Flex delivery partners in the U.S. who are fully Jabberwockied for the virus will no longer be required to wear face diapers at pickup sites. I'm doing some ad-libbing here. You'll have to figure that out. All right. Okay. While making deliveries unless required by the policy of the customer, delivery location, or state or local law. And then it says, starting June 15th, to confirm your status as being fully Jabberwockied, you can enter your information on the Flex app, Amazon Flex app, and upload a picture of your card. Show your papers. Show me your papers. Or your yellow star. You choose. Fully Jabberwocky delivery partners will receive an in-app badge that you can show to enter pickup sites without wearing a face diaper. To be considered fully Jabberwockied, you must be 14 days or more past your final dose, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Delivery partners who are not fully Jabberwockied or choose not to enter their Jabberwocky information into the Amazon Flex app must continue to wear the face coverings. Show us your papers or wear the star. You must also continue to wear face diapers if mandated by local regulations. Okay. So please note that face diaper guidelines are changing rapidly. Oh, you think? Yeah. We would like to thank you for blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's see. college son just wrote to me, college athletics as well. So Giselle, let me just explain something. They can't do that. Legally, constitutionally, uh, I would um, I would work the religious exemption angle on that. And one of the resources to go to is America's Frontline Doctors .com. Hold on a second. It's .org. Okay. If somebody wants to write out that link, just write out the URL. So space DOT space ORG. It's all spelled out. America's Frontline Doctors.org. There it is. Okay. They have a legal team. They have some information on there because kids are starting to go back to college and they're being faced with this. All right. So make sure that you are abreast of your rights and that you're actually fighting for your rights. There's zero science that indicates that children should actually be given these treatments. And then also we're seeing increased evidence that children, young people under the age of 30, are suffering with heart conditions and things like that. So that's a big concern. And I would start to gather the evidence as well and send that to the athletic department. Do your homework. It's going to take a little bit of work, but present the information and just say this is not warranted, it's not safe, and it's discriminatory against our family and against my child. It's but again, I would go and get as much information as you can. The other person the other source that I would look at is Lee Dundas. She was at the Health and Freedom Conference over the weekend as well in Tampa. Okay. So she's the attorney with the glasses that has been disseminating a lot of information and educating people about this. So, I mean, it's clear to me, it's clear to anybody with a functioning brain that the pandemic is over, that everything they're doing now is about control. It's about control, and it's about CYA. They have lawyers who are consulting and saying you have to do this on the outside chance that somebody gets a hangnail or a sniffle, and they're going to and they're going to sue you. That's what a lot of this is about. And so this is important that people understand the reasoning behind it. But I was in Florida, and it was amazing because you couldn't tell that there had ever been a pandemic. There were a few remnants, a few relics of signs around, the distancing signs and things like that are now over 400 days old, going on 500 days old, that have been sitting there gathering dust and fading and turning into complete and total relics of the biggest scam ever to be perpetrated among the entire world. And but the people there, like there's nobody. The few people that are wearing the face diaper, they look really out of place because it's just not a thing. I went to a restaurant, and it was so crowded. It was a Thursday night, and there was a 90-minute wait for a table. You couldn't even get a seat at the bar. We couldn't even get a seat. So I think that their attempt to perpetuate this is failing. I know it is. And for them to try to do this again, it would be an epic fail. It's just not going to happen. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me once, fool me twice, shame on me, right? And so, yeah, it's great because everything is fully open. There's no limitations. You can have as many people as you want in an elevator. You can have the full capacity in a restaurant, a sporting event, any venue. Now there are places and schools and different counties that are being ridiculous. I get that, but for the most part, it's just completely open. It's amazing. Let me just see. I heard someone say to write a letter to the company asking them to be liable for any damages that they get for the Jabberwocky or the face diaper. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I think that would be a good tactic. But also, somebody said that Lee Dundas is traveling, but she has a website. She has some information on her website. So, does anybody have that website? Let me just see if I have it somewhere. Hold on a second. Uh, Hold on. Okay, her website. It's okay. It's citizensrights.org, and it's citizens' rights with a dash. So it's citizens dash rights.org. Okay, and yeah, she's amazing. I met her in Tulsa, and we got to talk a little bit, and it was like she's like kind of like the hyper version of me. We really connected. We were telling stories. I was telling her how I almost got arrested. Um, so we really hit it off. I really like her. Um, and she's doing really good work. Yeah. So, hey Jim, I'm back. I was on vacation and had a great time. You guys want to see a picture of my vacation setup? So awesome. So some of you know, not everybody knows, squirrel. Not everybody knows, but I used to live in Hawaii, and when I was out there, I did a lot of surfing, and then I did a lot of stand up paddle surfing, and then I did a lot of racing. And so one of the things that I really like to do, I'm allowed vacations. I was Jim, I was using my Miracle superfoods on my vacation. It was so great. I just had all of my power shakes with me. Check it out. So this is what I did. I have you can see the racks up on the car, right? So this is like camping out for the day. And the water is right there. It's so nice, so easy. It's a really good spot. So that was my jam for a whole week. Okay, I'll show you a scenic picture. Oh, one of the highlights of the week was that every single day somebody got stuck, and I really liked when these beefy trucks with two-wheel drive would ignore all the signs and get stuck, and then I would get to watch them dig out and spend like an hour trying to shovel out, and then the lifeguard would come and pull them once they dug for an hour. It was so awesome. My car never got stuck because I have all-wheel drive and brand new tires. Okay, let me show you this. Let me see. Yeah, the superfoods it's like the fountain of youth and a miracle drug. Here we go. This is like early morning. I was the only one out there. Look at that. So cool. And where is that? I'll tell you later, Jim. Okay. I don't want to give away my secret spot. This is really pretty. Look at that. You guys want to see the storm that came in? There was an amazing storm that came in. One day I'll get all this stuff uploaded and play it for you through the video here, but I'll show you this video. It was really cool. Amazing. Hold on. Look how beautiful that is. Marianne, I told you to come up. Isn't that awesome? So pretty sweet. Yeah, it was really good. It was nice. It was kind of the wind was really bad, and then it rained some, but it was great. So it was really good. I had a great time, and met some interesting people. Marianne, it was so close. Yeah, it was a pretty cool storm. Okay, so that was my vacay, and I had good surf, and apparently it's not always the best in June, but we had good surf. Linda has a camping trip that begins tomorrow night. That's so good. Um, so that was it, and I drove back yesterday because I drove down there because I didn't want to fly. Plus, I have all my stuff with me in the car, and yeah, I was using a Costco board. It's a pretty fun little board. It's kind of nice traveling with a kind of an El Cheapo board because you don't really have to worry about it that much, and it's not like some of the really expensive boards. So that was nice. Okay, now let me get back on track here. But I'm glad everybody survived during my vacation, and I am glad that you. I'm glad you made it. I hope that you had other people to watch and listen to. I don't know if you noticed the other day, those of you who follow Praying Medic, that he did a live video on Telegram. And it's because he downloaded the beta version of the app that now allows live video. And so it's on the live chat feature, but it's a live video feature. So that's something that hopefully I'll be able to do at some point, which will be nice. And that's all the more reason to be following my Telegram, which is Mary Grace Media Official. And so those of you who were missing me and wondering where I was, you that's a good place to get that information because I really don't post on Facebook. I only post my show on Facebook. And the same thing on YouTube. For the most part, I just do my live streams. So if you're looking for social media posts like you used to get on Twitter, that just hasn't been happening. I just haven't been feeling it. So maybe at some point I'll go back to doing those kinds of posts again. But for the most part, any updates or information that you want to get about me, those are going to come. Those are going to come uh, from the uh, from the Telegram page. All right. Um, so we have a oh gosh, we have a Bards FM update. Vicky on YouTube says, Mary Grace, I saw Scott Kesterton's face. He did a podcast on Dr. Tenpenny's new show. Does the face go with the voice? He has such a great voice. Somebody sent me a picture of him. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know how old the picture was though, but what did you think? What was your impression? He has one of the best broadcast voices out there. I think it's fantastic. Okay, so let me get to the topics here. I will be back on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. So just put that on your calendars. Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern and Thursday at 5:30 Eastern. So make sure that you put it on your calendars. Those of you who have been missing me and wondering where I was, um, that's when I'm going to be back. All right. I will tell you that I have been watching the George News live streams, and they have been doing some interesting comments. And one of the things that they said is that they're going to be back on tonight. They're going to be back on at what time? I think 10:45 Eastern, but I would log on a few minutes early because they seem to be starting a little bit earlier than their published times. And one of the things that I've noticed with George, let me just give you a rundown for those of you who haven't watched it. So what they do is they play videos of past Real 45 events, and they uh, they they play the videos, which are very interesting. If you miss Real 45, it's definitely nice to watch those videos. And then they put comments in the chat, and that is where they are communicating with people. And it's one way to get around the censorship. And so it's interesting. And so when you go to those videos, when you go to the live stream, what you're looking at is the live chat. And so make sure that you click the live chat button under the YouTube video so that you can watch the live chat. And I recommend that when one of the Georges puts a comment in, that you screenshot it right away, because sometimes they drop little nuggets and then they will retract them. There have been a couple like that where they'll put a comment in, it will stay for less than a minute, and then they retract it. And so again, that's because we're not the only ones watching their channel. Okay. Now I usually share the link to that live chat, or somebody in the Mary Grace Media chat will share it. So that's one way to find it. But if you're following George News on Telegram, they will post the link in their George News channel. And that's a verified channel. It has a blue check mark. So make sure that you are following that channel as well. They turn on the live chat on their channel, and they turn on the live chat in their YouTube channel. So in their Telegram and in their YouTube. Some people think that they're blocked from that because they can't comment after the fact. That's because they turn off the commenting. You're not blocked. Okay. Now, one thing about that live stream is that there are 3 different Georges. So there's the official George News, the official George News, and that is the one that is highlighted in yellow. It's an admin account. And then there are 2 more. One is YouTube TV Live, and then what's the third one? There's George 1, George 2, George 3. And so you have to look for the comments from all of them, not just the yellow one. So be aware of that. Delia said she captured one of the retracted comments. Did you capture one from last night, Delia? I missed one. I had just gotten home and I was unpacking, so I was trying to multitask. It's better if you can watch the George stream without having to multitask, to be honest. And so again, it does require your full attention, and there's no guarantee that the George broadcast will remain up past the time that it is live. And sometimes they make the link private, not private, unlisted. So if you don't have the link, you can't find it. You can't go to the George News YouTube channel and search their videos and find the most recent live stream. I hope that makes sense. A lot of people are new to it and they're just finding it. And so it's definitely interesting. It's very interesting to observe. And I try to take screenshots of all of them. I know that I've shared a lot of them with you. They said something interesting yesterday. The very first comment they said was, "We never mention names or dates, but when we do, are you paying attention? Last few weeks, we have mentioned a few personalities and news events to watch out for. Some of you caught it." I don't know for sure what he's referencing there. I would have to go back and look at my notes. Then they said Arizona, the start. And then so YouTube TV Live said AZ is just the beginning. And then YouTube TV Live says sooner than later. Sooner than later. They keep saying that. They keep saying sooner than you think. June 26th and Ron Johnson. Okay. What was the reference to Ron Johnson on the 26th? They've also asked people to pray for Ron Johnson a lot. So he's in the crosshairs of the deep state. Okay. And then this is very interesting. So the fake news media is really hurting for ratings. And this is what George says. So much talk amongst the White House press pool regarding Biden's current state of mind and the fact that he obviously needs to take a cognitive test or two. Fear of being shunned by the White House press office. I forgot. I should have said Faker 46. All right. So it keeps them so he's saying fear of being shunned by the White House press office keeps them off the record and the comments confined to lower press. So what he's saying is that they're chattering amongst themselves about what is really going on with Faker 46, but they won't go public with it because they don't want backlash from the White House press office. That's what they're saying. And so one thing about George, whoever is writing the comments, whoever is running the G-man, they call him, that person is British. You can tell by the spellings and some of the expressions they use. Oh, okay. So Delia says Ron Johnson not related to the 26th. Just pray for Ron Johnson and news coming out in the rally. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you, Delia. Okay. So it says there will come a time sooner than you think when the press will have no option but to ask these questions publicly. No views and a dying MSM equals it's only a matter of time. They have to survive. Okay. T45 tour. Okay. Almost 2 years ago this week. So they posted a video of Real 45 in Korea. George says that Ron Johnson is a hero. My take on it was because of the January 6th investigation. I believe that. Yeah, he uncovered some very interesting information, and I'll go over that in just a minute. Scavino and George both posted "Let's go" with an eagle on, was it yesterday or the day before? That was very interesting. So, somebody posted a comment that I screenshotted, and I wanted to read this because people are still really upset and still questioning why Real 45 is talking about the Jabberwocky. Okay. And this person said something interesting. They said, here's the things that help guard against the virus, right? It says, this person says travel ban, sunshine, vitamin C, zinc, and the therapeutics. Okay. And then she said, Real 45 saved the world from tyranny, globalization, control. Warp speed, Jabberwocky was the only way out of lockdown. And that is what I've emphasized over and over and over again. It really was the only way. There are nations that are still under lockdown and that are, in the Southern Hemisphere, for example, they're in wintertime and they're just absolutely engaging in full-scale tyranny over people. And that is what we were saved for. So I don't want to go into all the detail about that because I've talked about it a lot, but I did want to point that out. Okay. So this is very interesting what George says. Media credential requests for the first rally, that means the one this weekend, is more than all of 2019 and 2020 combined. And then he said, they thirsty. It's kind of funny. All right. And then it said, All of us watching today, the past 5 years have been great, but what's coming will be beyond epic. Will be beyond epic in all caps. And that lines up with what a lot of the prophets are saying, with what we're seeing from Johnny Enlow and Kat Kerr and Hank Kunneman and a couple of the other prophets. So I really want to encourage you. And then they went on to say sooner than you think, and we're hearing that a lot. And then they said God wins, and I thought this was very interesting. So George was playing a video, and they said this plays for 17 more minutes. Then we'll switch to another epic video. And then I thought it was very interesting because they did something that they don't do very much, but they put it on slow mode, and it said slow mode is on. Send a message every 17 seconds. So the moderator can choose the timing of the intervals of when you can send a message. Okay, so that was the first slow mode. And the second one was slow mode is on. Send a message every 45 seconds. Are you starting to see a pattern here? And then they said, send a message every 2 minutes, 3 seconds. So there's obviously something in the 2 minutes and 3 seconds thing. So that's 123 seconds or 2 minute 23. I don't know. Did anybody figure that out? Okay. And then they said something interesting. They said, everything right now is as it should be. Everything right now is as it should be. Diane, I'll get back to your comment in just a minute. Yeah, I'll try to comment on that. And then they asked, have you seen the F-22 Raptor 2 up close? Well, no, George, I haven't. How would I see that? Okay. Now, this is really key. I want people to pay attention to this. It says, we will all have our I told you so moment. I'm going to repeat that. We will all have our I told you so moment, but be kind. People will be finally waking up. Think about that. We will all have our I told you so moment. We will all have our I told you so moment. What is that all about? Okay. Then they posted a link to an anonymous video. Okay. And then they said the tour, he's doing Real 45 is doing a tour with Bill O'Reilly. It says tour is December, but talking points will be taken from things that are still to happen. Interesting. Please continue to pray for Ron Johnson. All right. Now this was interesting. So they've been posting and talking a little bit about the anonymous group. It says, note, October 2018, non-Fed anonymous, so non-federal anonymous, came back to YouTube after a decade offline. Within 2 minutes, from 0 to 130,000 subscribers, 400 million minutes of watch time, then bye-bye. Verified YouTube is state-run. So they're saying that whatever anonymous channel is on YouTube and it's verified, that is deep state, I think. So be aware of that. And then they talked about the White House Social Media Summit. They said, why was there a need for the White House Social Media Summit? What was born out of that event? Yet to come. Okay. And then they said I think this is the retracted comment. I think it said, there is only, because this was at, oh, maybe not, because it was 6:59 p.m. That was a different day. I think that was a different retracted comment. It said there's only one way that this goes. I think that was the day that they were doing multiple broadcasts in a day. Okay. So that was it for yesterday, but it was really good. So if you can stay up tonight and watch. It's definitely worth it. And then you sort of need to read the comments in between because some other people drop interesting nuggets as well. So it's a place for people to go and converse and connect with other patriots too. Delia actually met a neighbor through the George chat. It turns out they live in the same neighborhood, and they connected through the George chat when because George often asks people where they're tuning in from, and they and Delia noticed somebody that did that, and so they connected. How cool is that? And so so that was pretty neat. And one thing though about YouTube is that it's very hard to chat with people on YouTube because there's no reply feature. You can't swipe and reply like you can on you can't swipe and reply like you can on Periscope or Facebook. So it's kind of cumbersome. The George YouTube is they post the links to their YouTube in their Telegram channel, George News. All right. So can you talk about Real 45 and the you know what? I don't really want to talk about that right now because I've talked about it so much, Gizmo's mom. There's a whole there's a whole bunch of information that I'll share in my Telegram, some talking points. Okay. But I don't want to spend the rest of the show on that. Okay. But Diane asked, Mary, can you talk about Real 45's comments on yesterday's interview with Real America's Voice saying he did not concede and other great tidbits? I did not watch that interview yet. I thought it was on OAN. Oh, the neighbor is the daughter, Delia. Okay. Diane, can you send me the link to the interview? I'll watch it. I did see that one comment where he said he didn't concede. I mean, it just makes sense. We've been saying that all along that he didn't concede, right? So, yeah, I thought the interview was on OAN today. He's been doing interviews. I want to say one thing about his interviews, though, and also about his rallies, because I think this will be helpful to some of you. All right. Those of you who are listening right now, and those of you who follow Telegram and who are dialed in to a lot of stuff, maybe you're not a normie still. Maybe you're not quite an anon. Maybe you're in between. All right. But here's something that I want you to understand. Raise your hand if you've ever watched a Real 45 rally from start to finish. If you've intentionally gone on social media and watched a rally from start to finish. Let's see a show of hands. The chat is really slow, so I'm not sure I'm going to see it. All right. I think it's safe to say that most of you have done that. All right. So raise your hand with me. Yes, I've watched a rally from start to finish. Raise your hand if you've watched more than one. Raise your hand if you never miss a rally. Raise your hand if you make a point of watching just about every video or every interview that he has done, even when in office or when out of office. I see a lot of hands raised. Raise your hand if you watched every single briefing, every single coronavirus briefing, or almost every he did last year, even the ones that went on for like 2 hours. Got it. Okay. I see a lot of hands raised. So here's what I want you to know. You are in the minority. You have an entire lexicon of Real 45 sayings and expressions and talking points stored up in your brain. And that's great because you're able to talk to people and explain things to them. That's because you're not a normie. All right. And so but one of the things that I hear from you guys sometimes is, why does he say X over and over and over again? All right. Why does he keep talking about X? Why does he keep saying this? Why does he repeat himself? All right. That's a good question. However, you are not his audience. This is what I want you to understand. If you've even watched one full rally from start to finish, or if you've made a point and gone out of your way to go and find an interview or a recording, or if you've shared clips from interviews, if you've heard one from start to finish, and definitely if you've heard more than one, and if you watched all of the coronavirus briefings, you are not his audience. I want to make that very clear. And I think this will help you going forward, because the rally that he is going to do and some of the other interviews that he's going to do, I want to explain to you what this is for. This is for the normies. This is for the people who, I'll give you some examples. This is for people who might have voted for Dementia 46 and who are now starting to realize that things aren't the way that they thought they would be. All right. This is for the people that are still that voted for him, who are still getting most of their information off of the networks. This is for those people. This is for what we would call the normies. They very likely have only heard snippets of things that he says. They've only heard things that have been cut and chosen and curated by the media. These speeches that he's doing now, the talking points that he is pushing over and over and over, these are not for you. And so if you find yourself getting upset, if you find yourself getting annoyed, if you find yourself wondering, why does dad keep saying the same thing over and over? I got it, enough already. Just be aware that he's not talking to you. However, it is important to tune in, because in a rally, he is going to drop some nuggets for the Anons, for the people who are awake, like you. He's going to drop some truth bombs that you don't want to miss. And if you watch some of the Anon channels, so if you're following some of the better channels on Telegram, for example, like one that I really like is Pepe Lives Matter. They are really good at picking up on those little nuances of things that he drops in these speeches and interviews. If you're following those people, then you're going to be able to go and see those things that you're going to be able to go. You're going to be able to see those little nuggets. Okay, so when you go into this, go into it with the understanding that about 90% of what he's saying is for the media, because a lot of them, believe it or not, they don't listen to his stuff. They don't listen to his speeches. Some of them, some of these media companies will send the B team. And so you've got all of the grips, the camera operators, the production team. You've got all of those people who have a chance of being red pilled. And you have all the staff in any media production facility, studio. You have the staff in a venue. Those people aren't necessarily red pilled. And then you have the audience that is listening. And again, there's a lot of normies out there. So when he talks, he is talking 90% to those people, and about 10% of what he's saying is for the Anons. And so you got to pay attention. You've got to be ready to pick up on those things. I hope that's helpful, because that's my analysis of what it is that I hope that's helpful, that you are able to have a little bit of peace of mind and not get so annoyed because he keeps repeating himself. He's not losing his mind. Um, he's very strategic, and he knows that he has to keep repeating himself because he's so heavily censored as well. And then the other thing too is that he's actually a master communicator, and he understands the art of war. He understands even the ancient traditions of storytelling. And if you go back even a long way to some of the ancient storytellers before the advent of the printing press, one of the ways that they told stories and one of the ways that they taught the masses was by repeating the same stories and the same phrases over and over and over again. This is a technique that Homer used when he wrote the Odyssey. He would repeat the same phrases in story after story, and so it was also the reason that they did that was to carry the story and to carry the narrative, but also to get a message across. And it also helped the storyteller who was telling the stories verbally. It provided anchors for the stories that they were telling. So, for example, one of the phrases that Homer would use often was the rosy-fingered dawn. That's just one that comes to mind. But it was a technique that was very strategic, that was used for the storyteller to make sure that they got the message out consistently. All right. So that's part of what he's doing. And so hopefully that perspective on how this goes will help you, because again, he's not doing this for you. I mean, he's getting out there because he knows that you want to see him, but he's really doing this. All of what he's doing is really for the haters and for the people that think they hate him but really want him back, and for the people that love him but who are really working at a lower information level. All right. Hi, Mary Wingard. I saw you on Facebook. So does that help? Does that perspective help you? And this is true also when it comes to his rhetoric about the Jabberwocky. Okay, so he has, he's driving home that point, and if you understand and you read between the lines, he's not saying that he wants everybody to go out and take it. He's emphasizing the timing. He's emphasizing that if he had listened to the 4-foot sociopath, Baby Mengele, the country would still be on lockdown. And because Baby Mengele said that we wouldn't have that for 4 or 5 years at best. And so what he's emphasizing is he called that guy's bluff and he got the country open. That's what he's emphasizing. And that was the only way he could do it. And you have to keep the perspective that we are at war, that there are casualties of war. And as painful as that is to take in, when you read about the adverse effects, when you see the things that are happening, you have to understand that a leader makes difficult choices. They make a call at times that has the least bad result. And so if you're still struggling with this, or if you know somebody who is, I want you to understand that everything in him is about life, about saving life. And we know that because we know that there have been situations where he actually pulled back from an attack on foreign soil because he found out that there would be civilians, too many civilians would have been in harm's way. And so that is an important distinction. And as much as you want him to come out and say it's bad, don't take it, these people are scammers, whatever. If as much as you want him to say that, you have to understand that he's making strategic decisions based on all of the calculated risks of the fewest number of casualties possible. All right? That's the situation that he's in right now. And he has come out and said, "Don't give it to kids. Stop this." All right? So just keep that in mind. I really want people to have perspective on this because I feel like people are getting really lost. They're losing sight of the forest for the trees. They're so hyper focused on that one thing that they're missing all of the other stuff that is happening. They're missing what's happening with the audits. They're missing what's happening with all of these policies that people are fighting against. Critical race theory, for example, the things that they're trying to put in the schools. You're getting so distracted by this one aspect of his rhetoric that that you're actually falling that you are actually losing sight of other really important issues. Okay, so don't be that person that gets distracted by him and by the things that he focuses on, because remember, when he focuses on a topic, when he draws attention to something, a lot of times it's because he's busy doing other stuff and it's a cover for other things. So don't be susceptible to that. All right? And along those lines, also, I think it's important to understand that as different stories break, as you find out more information, remember that both sides put out disinformation, and that we do it as well as the other side does it. And we put out disinformation sometimes to distract from what's really going on. All right. So just remember that. And and we also we put out stories that will lead people to think that A is happening when B is really actually happening. And one example I'll give you that is that it's coming out now that there have been grand juries impaneled and that there has been a pretty deep investigation on leakers in Congress, and that there are people like Adam Schiff who have been under investigation, and that that records were subpoenaed, and that this has been going on for quite some time. And a lot of people have been stuck in the mindset and the belief that nothing's happening. And they also were led to believe, because of the exchanges that went back and forth between 45 and Jeff Sessions, that Jeff Sessions was a ne'er-do-well who didn't accomplish anything as an AG, when in reality, he was the one who started the investigations on the leakers. And now it's coming out that a lot of these things that everybody thought weren't happening were actually happening. And so I feel somewhat vindicated, because I was one of those people who was maligned and blocked by people for saying that I believe that Jeff Sessions actually did his job. And so I believe that the entire narrative or the entire exchange that was happening between him and Real 45, I think that was theater. And I think it may come out one day that was theater. And so we'll see. And I know that some of you don't like that. You don't like that the game is played this way, or that that you're watching a movie or whatever. I don't know what to tell you, because the only way to beat these people is to play the game the way that they play it. And so, if you need any proof of that, just look at the way that the Republicans for years have played nice, and we've actually been walked all over, and we have allowed the Republicans have allowed the Democrats to just walk all over us and given away so much that they never should have given away. And so, we're taking the fight to them. And I think it's slowly dawning on some of them that we have actually been on the offense on a lot of these things for a number of years now. And I think it's going to be very fun to watch as these revelations continue to come out. So, uh, so that's some of my analysis for today, and I wanted to just get back in the swing here and give you some of my thoughts about what's going on, and hopefully that's helping you. There's so many topics to talk about, but we'll come back to that. Now, I'll be back on Wednesday, and before, let's see. Okay. All right, comments. I don't think I need to go through any of the comments right now. Okay. I was just talking to a friend of mine about superfoods, and I mentioned it earlier in the show. Jim was commenting on YouTube about it, how it's like a miracle drug. I don't know that I would say it's a miracle drug, but it's definitely amazing. And when I was surfing all week, I had my supply of superfoods with me, and it was so great. Oh, Minnie, thank you. I just saw your compliment. I appreciate that. It was so fantastic to have my superfoods with me because I didn't. I was out on the beach. I was in my car, and I didn't have to. I didn't have to stop and like make a big salad and prep a lot of food, and I was able to nourish my body and to keep going with some pretty high level activity the whole week, and it was amazing, just so good. And I was able to stay hydrated and to stay energized, and it was just really just one of the easiest things ever. And during the summertime, I think that is a really great thing because it's a great time actually to do a nutritional reset if you're looking to do something different. And I just want to make sure that I tell everybody about this because I would actually not I would fail you if I didn't tell you that you can have access to the world's highest quality organic green superfoods delivered right to your door. And that is what I have. And so if you want information about that, please write to me and I will send you a promo code so that you can save over $100 off. We have a 30-day reset program that is amazing. It gives you like 60 meal replacements and a schedule to follow. It's a really easy program, I think. Delia is still in the chat. She can tell you how effective it is. She's lost over 60 pounds. People have had amazing health transformations. Jim uses it. I think he works out a lot. He's using it for travel, just because it's so convenient and you're nourishing your body. And then somebody just put something in my Telegram room, and this is very disturbing. This is something that I've known about for a long time, but I haven't talked about it recently. And that is if you're eating conventional meats, so any meat that you're buying in the grocery store that is not uh, is not is not grass fed, hormone free, antibiotic free, or anything like that. Anything that you are uh, eating is going to be injected with pharmaceuticals, and so big ag and big pharma are like this. I don't know if you know that, and I can't talk too much about it because this is the same kind of thing that gets Ann Vandersteel flagged by TSA everywhere she goes these days. But what I want to say is that when calves, when a baby calf, when a calf is first born onto the feedlot, one of the first things that they do is inject them with a Jabberwocky, and it contains a lot of pretty bad stuff, including thimerosal. And so, think about how many times they are injecting these animals and what kind of pharmaceuticals they're putting into the bodies of these animals over the lifespan. And it all goes into their fat and their muscle. And so when you eat a big piece of meat, what is it that you're putting in your body? So really think about that. think about it. um, yeah, and Delia said, "This is the best. I lost 61 pounds." Yeah, and that was almost a year ago that you started, and you've kept the weight off, which is fantastic. Okay, Vicky says superfood very much helped me to reset how I was eating and drinking. I have found the joy of fresh squeezed lemon and ice water, taking aminos, biomedic, and the C. Okay, the C from nature every day. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. So thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. So it's pretty amazing. Okay, so write to me, info@marygracemedia.com, so that you can get your promo code, so that you can get the promo code and get started on this. We're actually going to be starting a new transformation group in July. So if you order now, you'll get your superfoods in time. We're starting a new Facebook group for the transformation. I know some of you aren't on Facebook, but that's the best we can do with the numbers of people that we have. So hopefully that will work for you. All right. info@marygracemedia.com. And for those of you who are on superfoods, sometimes you write to me and ask pretty involved involved questions. I can't answer too extensively on some of those, and that's one of the reasons that you want to be in the groups, so that you can do a little bit of research and ask those questions. But I just wanted to get that out there. Somebody says, I'm bringing a magnet to the grocer to test if our grocer meats contain metals, like in many videos. Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah. Okay, info@marygracemedia.com. I'm going to sign off now. I will be back on Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today and for coming back, even though I took a week off. It's fantastic to see everybody. And I will be back on Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern. Make sure that you're following all of the channels. We are at Mary Grace Media, marygracemedia.com. If you want to support the channel, you can do that by purchasing superfoods. I do get a commission from that. You can also just do a monthly partnership through the website. Go to marygracemedia.com and click on support, or you can do a one-time gift. And then you can also follow me on YouTube, Facebook, CloutHub, Channel 111. Where else am I? Oh, Twitter, Real Mary Grace 1. I think that's it for now. So I'll be back on Wednesday. Linda, I'll be back Wednesday at 5:30 Eastern, and then Thursday at 5:30. So everybody have a great evening. Thank you for being here, and it was a pleasure interacting with all of you. Thanks for all the great comments, and thank you to my moderators. Everybody have a wonderful evening.